be discussing about deep learning. Basically, this is one of the disciplines of artificial intelligence and one of the most important areas as on date. As on date, everybody is speaking about the artificial intelligence, and in artificial intelligence people are speaking about machine learning and deep learning. And I want to assure you that after some days nobody will speak about machine learning and people keep speaking only about deep learning. The simple reason for that is that wherever there are heavy volumes of data, deep learning comes into the picture, and wherever the volumes are not very high, machine learning comes into the picture. However, the algorithms which implement machine learning are different. The algorithms which implement the deep learning are completely different, and in India as well as in the world, in every sphere the volume is going up and up day to day. In today's presentation, we will be discussing about some fundamentals related to the deep learning. After this discussion, you should be in a position to dwell into more important topics that will enable you to write deep learning algorithms by yourself very efficiently, because the algorithm which you write should lead to maximum accuracy within tolerable time. So, the objectives of today's lecture are to introduce artificial intelligence, to introduce machine learning, to introduce deep learning, and we will look into some applications of artificial intelligence in education. The reason why I said applications of artificial intelligence without saying applications of deep learning is that as on date many applications are using machine learning algorithms, and it will take a while before deep learning algorithms are in place. So, overall we say artificial intelligence because in artificial intelligence everything is covered, both machine learning as well as deep learning and many other disciplines. At the same time, suppose that you are a person who is attending at the first time the lectures in deep learning. I just want to do a recap like what AI means, then what ML means, then we will introduce you to the deep learning. Let us see what is meant by artificial intelligence. First of all, let us ourselves think of the natural intelligence. What is natural intelligence? Are we naturally intelligent? Are we all human beings or even animals? I want to say that by birth we are intelligent to some extent. As we grow, our intelligence grows. As we experience, our intelligence further grows. As we get educated more and more, our intelligence further grows. But at the same time, we want to say that we are naturally intelligent. However, when we are born, yes, we inherited some intelligence, that we are naturally intelligent. After that, based upon the situations, our intelligence is increasing. That strictly speaking, you cannot say that you are naturally intelligent, you have to say that you are artificially intelligent. So, by birth naturally intelligent, in due course you became artificially intelligent, but what is more important is that you are intelligent. Now, forget about human beings, think about machines, think about robots, think about self driven cars or autonomous cars. If you think about them, they are bare machines, okay? They do not do anything, but you have to make them do. If you have to make them do, you have to make them think as you think. If you are trying to make them think as you think, if you are trying to make them act as you act, then the term artificial intelligence comes, because these self driven cars, these robots or anything else, I am speaking about machines, they are not naturally intelligent. Whatever action they does only due to some addition of features to them, which is enabling them to perform the way they are performing. Now, is it possible that we induce such knowledge into the machines that they think just like humans? That is what people are trying since years and will be trying for many years, and ultimately they may be closing on, and also there are chances that machines will be more intelligent than you, because it is already proven in some cases wherein our world chess champion was beaten by a computer in the chess championship. Similarly, there is a Deep Blue machine which is able to beat the human being. So, this is artificial intelligence. Now, making machines intelligent requires some skills on the part of human being also. You cannot just think that okay, let me make this particular machine or something intelligent. No, even if you think, you need to have some skill, you need to have some knowledge that they behave intelligently due to whatever you do to them. So, this is what is we are going to learn as part of artificial intelligence, and in artificial intelligence there are many areas. We will be focusing on the deep learning. So, once these machines become intelligent or start becoming intelligent, we say that they are artificial intelligence. So, this is what is this entire discipline of artificial intelligence is about. So, let us see what is meant by artificial intelligence very formally. It is also called machine intelligence. It is intelligence demonstrated by machines, unlike natural intelligence displayed by the humans and animals. Artificial intelligence has any task performed by a piece of software or a machine that if a human carried out the same activity, we would say that human had applied intelligence to accomplish the task. Artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine to perform tasks that are commonly performed by intelligent beings. Now, there are many areas of artificial intelligence. Okay. One is machine learning, which is booming at this moment, deep learning, which has started booming, but it is something which is going to come up in a very huge manner. You need to be prepared for it. If you want jobs, blue collar jobs, very highly paid jobs, very highly comfortable jobs, I think deep learning is the area where you need to get the expertise. Evolutionary computing is one area of artificial intelligence, computer vision, robotics, export systems, speech processing, natural language processing. So, these are some of the areas which are part of artificial intelligence, but at the same time what I would like to say is that we are already experiencing artificial intelligence through some tools without knowledge that these are AI enabled facilities or AI enabled features. For example, you think of your speech recognition system. Okay. You say something, it is converted into the text. Just try to search something on the Google. Okay. There you have a microphone symbol, you click on it and you speak, and automatically it is converted into the text. So, this is actually nothing but your speech is being recognized by some software which is associated with that microphone, and automatically text is being printed. So, in one way that is artificial intelligence. It is able to recognize your accent, it is able to recognize the words. The same is the Apple's Siri. You have a feature called Siri in the Apple devices, whether it is iPad or iPhone or iMac and Mac machines, they also does the same thing. At the same time, there are many things which we are using every day which are AI powered or which are AI enabled, and without the knowledge of AI we are not recognizing that they are AI enabled, but still we are using the features of AI. So, there are many areas in the AI which I just mentioned, and we will be looking into some of them. Particularly, we will introduce deep learning in today's discussion. Before introducing deep learning, let us see what is meant by machine learning. Again, machine learning means it is nothing but what I said, wherein you will make machines learn and act like humans, and sometimes they even beat humans. So, machine learning algorithms, they use statistics to find patterns in massive amounts of data. Data can be anything like numbers, words, images, clicks and anything else. It can be digitally stored and can be fed into a machine learning algorithm. Machine learning is widely used in recommendation systems in Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and it is also used in voice assistants such as Siri, Alexa and other things like even Amazon's some such feature had come up. So, there are many such voice assistants which will be helping you. For example, recently Apple released a HomePod. HomePod mini it launched. Even HomePod does great things. They are using artificial intelligence techniques behind their functions. And ML, it is widely used as on date, and all these things basically they collect data from you, feed them into a machine learning algorithm and make a guess of what might you want next. So, basically it works as you have to find the pattern, you apply the pattern. So, machine learning algorithm, it will find the patterns in the data that is fed into it, and then it will apply that pattern and keeps on improving the patterns, and based on the patterns it will be giving the output which is nothing but their actions. There are three approaches in machine learning algorithms. The way they learn, there are three different ways in which they learn. One is supervised learning, the other is unsupervised learning, and the other is reinforcement learning. In the case of supervised learning, computer is presented with example inputs and their desired outputs. The goal is to learn a general rule that maps inputs to outputs. Unsupervised learning, here it takes a set of data that contains only inputs and finds the structure in the data like grouping or clustering of data points. The algorithms learn from test data that has not been classified or categorized. Instead of responding to feedback, these algorithms identify commonalities in the data and react based on the absence of such commonalities in each new piece of data. And reinforcement learning is something which is very important. Here a computer program, it interacts with a dynamic environment in which it must perform a certain goal, such as driving of a vehicle or playing a game against an opponent. As it navigates its problem space, the program is provided feedback that is analogous to rewards which it tries to maximize. So, this is reinforcement learning. For example, autonomous cars, they use reinforcement learning. Supervised learning, supervised learning is something where you will clearly give the inputs and give the outputs. So, there you already have a mapping. So, you are basically providing a lot of clues to the machine learning algorithm. In the case of unsupervised learning, we are not providing any clues to the algorithm. So, more clues you provide, more accurately it performs. Now, let us see what is deep learning. Deep learning, it is basically a subset of machine learning, and machine learning is subset of the artificial intelligence. So, you have to say that artificial intelligence is the superset in which you have machine learning, and again there is a deep learning inside the machine learning. In one way, artificial intelligence is a big superset of each and every area of artificial intelligence, which we have mentioned in the initial slides. So, deep learning, it is a subset of machine learning, where artificial neural networks and algorithms inspired by human brain learn from large amounts of data. Basically, many things in deep learning, they are developed keeping in view of the functioning of the human brain and various components of the human brain. The name deep learning is because the neural networks have various deep layers that enable learning. I have to tell you that a human brain is having a billion neurons. In our brain, we have a billion neurons, and deep learning works on neural networks. At the same time, our networks inside the brain are biological neural networks, and whatever deep learning works are artificial neural networks, because those neural networks are created by the humans, and these biological neural networks are there in place when we are born, and they keep on developing, and some of the neurons keep on created and some of the neurons keep on dying. So, a deep learning algorithm attempts to draw conclusions as humans would by continuously analyzing data with a given logical structure. This is one image of artificial neural network. There you see all the circles, they are nothing but they are neurons. Okay. Then there are several connections between these neurons. This is how neurons are connected. One important thing here is that the first column of neurons, this is called the input layer. So, you have a program, in program you have several components. Each component can be a neuron is nothing but a processing unit. So, when you are giving input, some processes take them as input and they are in the first column, that is input layer. Then you have the last layer from which you are getting the output. So, the last layer is called the output layer. So, the first one is called input layer, the last one is called the output layer. Then in between there are 3 layers. These 3 layers are called hidden layers. These layers are invisible to the externals. Even of course, for external who is giving input, for him even the input layer and output layer are invisible. But at the same time, in a neural networks program, you have one input layer, you have one output layer, then all layers in between are called hidden layers. Hidden layers does most of the processing. More hidden layers, more processing it does. So, whenever you are not able to get perfect output to a neural network program or an algorithm, then you can even think of increasing the hidden layers and keep on further processing the input, so that the output is more accurate. I will just give you one example. For example, let me say I have taken an image of a dog and have given it as an input to the neural network. Then ultimately the output should be the name of the image which we have given, that should be the dog. Okay, sometimes it will not be, sometimes it will go for an error, sometimes it may say cat, sometimes it may say rat, but you have to see that how many times it said correctly. That percentage is very important, because in real life when you implement this algorithm, accuracy really matters, and your job is to write such deep learning algorithms which will provide accurate answers to the maximum extent possible. I am not saying that they will be providing you 100% correct, because if they have to provide 100% correct, then you have to compute it in a different manner, wherein there will be lot of time consumption by the software, and that much time is intolerable and one cannot wait. So, there are different types of artificial neural networks. One basic neural network is perceptron neural networks. They implement logic gates such as AND, OR, such gates. Then we have feed forward neural networks. They normally implement face recognition, speech recognition and similar such acts. Then we have multi-layer perceptron neural networks. They mainly focus on machine translation. Then we have convolutional neural networks. They are exclusively used for image processing, computer vision and even autonomous cars, because they have to control themselves depending on what is coming to them across, what is coming in the opposite direction. They have to recognize a green light, they have to recognize a yellow light, they have to recognize a red light. So, a lot of vision is included in a self-driven car and autonomous car. Their convolutional neural networks are used. So, there are several types of artificial neural networks. Apart from these 4, we have radial basis function neural networks. Here power plants for load balancing, these neural networks are used. Then we have recurrent neural networks. Here they are used in text processing like auto suggest, grammar checks, text to speech processing, image tagger, sentiment analysis and translation. Then we have modular neural networks. Here stock market prediction systems are developed. So, there are large number of neural networks, a lot of types of neural networks, and quite interestingly the architecture of each type of neural network is different, and even if it is different, basically a few fundamental blocks of the architecture are the same, but at the same time even that architecture varies based on the problem at the hand. Now, the question arises, why I need a deep learning algorithm? Is it essential for it? Here you see the reason why we are having a deep learning algorithm. For example, there you take a piece of software which is acting on a piece of data. So, here the amount of data we have put it on the x axis and the performance of the algorithm on the y axis. So, as the amount of data is increasing, the performance of the algorithm is increasing, but at the same time at some point, if you look at the red line, which is not a deep learning algorithm, that algorithm that particular performance has become a plateau. See, as amount of data is increasing, the plateau is not increasing. So, the performance has got stagnated and there it has become a plateau. Now, you feed any amount of data, the performance is the same, it neither goes up nor goes down. But in the case of a deep learning algorithm, you see that algorithm's performance is increasing as we are providing more and more data. Nowadays, volume is very important. In everything there is a lot of voluminous data. For example, you think how many people are traveling by air, when compared to 10-15 years back, it is very high. And many things have completely changed. Around 15-20 years back, you don't have Amazon, you don't have a Flipkart. Now they are in place. Every day millions of people are logging into their systems, purchasing something or browsing at least. So if you have to analyze their behaviors, you need deep learning algorithms that will be doing the proper data analytics. So a deep learning algorithm's specialty is that as the amount of data is increasing, the performance is also increasing. Now as I already said, as data increases, the performance increases. The same is the case here. As the scale of the data increases, deep learning algorithms performance increases. So the deep learning algorithms progress basically is base for the scale. It is the scale which drives the deep learning algorithms progress. The same is the case here also. Now if you consider how you develop a deep learning algorithm, first thing is you have data, okay, then you have to compute, then you write the algorithm. Whatever output you are getting, that algorithm again can go back and again become part of the computation, again it goes input like input to the algorithm, and the output quality will keep on increasing. So if you think, how should I basically predict that I have to write a deep learning algorithm? So it all stands with your idea. First of all, your idea, you have to analyze your idea, how you will implement it, then you have to code it, then you have to experiment it, and this iteration will keep on continuing until some time before you are sure that your decision to implement a particular technique is right, and only then you can go for a real life application. Now I have been using the word neural networks. Now let us start exactly what is meant by a neuron. As I already said, in our brain we have billions of neurons. I think I said it's a 1 billion, basically it is 100 billion neurons in our human brain. So neuron is a fundamental unit of brain and the nervous system. It is responsible for receiving the sensory input and for sending motor commands to our muscles, and it is also used for taking care of electrical signals at every step. And nearly 100 billion neurons are present in human brain. They all are connected. So 100 billion neurons are connected. This 100 billion is not an accurate figure, it will vary, but maybe 80 billion or something, because even human to human it varies, and roughly it is 100 billion neurons normally. So new neurons can get created, and neurons also keep dying, as I already mentioned, and I have also spoke about the biological neural networks. The last point which mentions neurons communicate with each other through electrical signals called action potentials and neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are very important because basically neurotransmitters they does the transmission of the electrical signal from one neuron to another neuron. Okay. So that signal is very much important, based on which the neuron which is taking input from a neurotransmitter will again act based on the nature of the electrical signal or its intensity. And an action potential, it basically causes one neuron to release a chemical neurotransmitter into another neuron, which may excite or inhibit it from firing its own action potential. Ultimately, the balance or net output determines whether an action potential will result or not in a brain. So here you can have a look at a neuron. Okay, this is the structure of a neuron. Here there are two neurons, if you see, okay, and there you see the tail of one neuron getting connected to the head of another neuron, where the output of the top neuron is going into the input of the bottom neuron. The words head and tail I am using only for convenience sake. Otherwise, you have lot of technical words in it, such as axon is there, synapse is there, dendrites is there. So these are different parts which you can clearly see in the image. So here this is an example of a artificial neural network. There you can see there are three layers here. The leftmost one is input layer, the rightmost layer is the output layer, and the middle one is the hidden layer. So here we are giving a sample image as an input, and then we are getting some output, wherein this output should identify the sample image. The most important thing is that if you see the input layer, hidden layer and output layer, they all are fully connected. It means that one neuron, each neuron is connected to another neuron. So, this is a fully connected neural network. So, there are several types of neural networks. These I have given you some of them here, and most important in a neural network is a weight and input. We have to predict them. Our accuracy of the algorithm is based on our correct prediction of weights and inputs, and then there is something called an activation function, which will be taking the input of weights and inputs and then computes and then provides that as input to the hidden layer. So, activation functions and outputs are very much important. So, basic activation functions are identity function, step function and sigmoid function. These are the three basic activation functions. So, in a deep learning model, you have a neural network with significant number of hidden layers. So, more hidden layers, better response can be expected from the deep learning algorithm. So, some of the applications I have already told you, and the main differences between a machine learning algorithm and a deep learning algorithm are that in deep learning you have more data, and a deep learning algorithms they need high performance computing power, for which they need a GPS, that is graphical processing units, GPU systems. Then deep learning algorithms they find patterns themselves, and in deep learning time is high and final result time is less, unlike in the machine learning. So, origin of ML is statistics, and for deep learning it is human cognition. There are many libraries available. Some of them are like in the case of ML we have NumPy, Panda, Scikit and Learn. In the case of deep learning we have TensorFlow, Keras and Theano. So, these are some of the applications of artificial intelligence in education. Here machine learning algorithms are being used for grading purpose, for optimizing the coursework to fit individual student needs, leading to personalized learning, and even for preparation for exams. So, there are large number of applications based on the student's performance. Something can be suggested which will enable him to boost his performance. So, Duolingo is a website which uses machine learning techniques to teach foreign languages. Quite interestingly, here you can find that you have a Spanish, you have French, you have German, Japanese, Italian, English, Korean, Chinese, Russian, Arabic and many foreign languages which you can learn freely. Okay, there are no charges for it, at least after registration for a while. That is my expectation. They are free, I am sure, but in case they added any charges, now I do not know. The most important thing is that they teach foreign language by applying to those artificial intelligence to those systems which teach you. Okay. So, at the base it is the machine learning which is powering this particular Duolingo portal, which is enabling them to teach foreign languages to you. Okay. And then there is another Cogni. Here it is an AI powered virtual learning assistant. It provides virtual tutoring and quick grading of open ended responses as well as study and review tools. Machine learning is used to individualize and improve learning and feedback. It is awarded a $750,000 NSF grant. So, there is something very interesting in it. I advise you to go to this particular portal and check and try to get involved in it to experience yourself how they are usually using these virtual learning assistants. Then you have a Testive. It is also an online SAT or ACT tutor that uses machine learning and human coaches to help students improve standardized test scores through personalized teaching. Then you have Khan Academy, our entire country knows. It also uses artificial intelligence to generate exercises to the students, customized. So, these are some references which I used in today's lecture, and I thank you all a lot for attending today's discussion. I hope that today's discussion will empower you to dwell deeper into the deep learning, and you will definitely write a deep learning algorithm which will be very successful for everybody. Thanks a lot. All the best to you.